Hello and welcome to the Auditing Antics podcast. So today we're going to do something that, I have to say is out of the norm for Michelle and I, and we've been joking quite a bit back and forth and with some of our family members about today's episode because we're not one to feel the feels, right? We're not one
Mhm.
to seek out all the feelings and be all, sentimental and lovey-dovey and whatever you want to call it. That's not us on the regular. But, it's one of
Well,
those.
let's
Go
just
ahead.
say we know it's understood, okay? It's not that we're hard, cold people. We just understand. Like, it's just understood. So
Yes,
we don't
yes.
have to talk about it.
Or show it, or show it. It's funny because I drop you off at the airport, Michelle, and you just get out, grab your bag, go away.
I
Hey,
know.
see you next time.
Like, see ya.
Talk to you later.
Same thing, pick up. You pick me up, I get in the car, like, I'm so cold. Hello. Nice to see you.
Exactly, exactly. But I thinking about this, and it's something too that for me as I age, I tend to think more about it, and it sounds cliche, but
Mhm.
especially for us, Michelle, I feel like in our childhood, for example, we had a pretty good childhood. We didn't have a lot of things that happened as far as like trauma
No.
or losing
Mm-mm.
family members. We were very lucky in that particular way. So, as we age and we've lost people, this past fall we lost
Yes.
our cousin. For us and my insular family here in Tennessee, Thanksgiving can be hard because my brother-in-law had passed away years ago, and our very first Thanksgiving in Tennessee was a time that he decided to make a trip down here to be with us, and then we lost him the following year.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those things where you kind of start to look deeper, and it really makes me think, okay, it's important to slow down and reflect on it, even though I just like you, I don't like to go there. I don't like
No.
to. If I know something's going to make me cry or upset, movies, anything, it's like, no, let's not go there.
I mean, I'll go there. I've been telling you to read Kristen Hanna books
Oh
for the
yeah, no.
longest time, but you won't because you don't want to cry. But you know what? Sometimes it's worth it, okay?
No. I'll stick with my mystery and horror. Very different.
Crime.
Yes, yes. But, it's good to pause and reflect on the year. And, I always think about different Thanksgiving meals when people are like, okay, let's go around the table and say what we're thankful for. And every
My
time
worst
I'm like,
nightmare.
I have no idea, family, like, not
Yeah,
really
I know.
thinking about it. So it's good to pause, and we're going to go through that today and just think about some of the things for us personally, in the industry. I definitely have a different viewpoint this year, being a year into my own business and engaging more in the industry.
Mhm.
Not that I didn't before, but prior to going out on my own, I had different circles depending on where I was working or who my clients were and things like that. And I branched out more and, formed some really good relationships with other consultants in the industry, attorneys, people who own other companies, things like that. So it's
Mhm.
been really good to build the relationships and also see people come out and support me in my business. Taking that step into the dark, you don't really know what's going to come about. And I have to say, this has been a really good, successful year. So I'm very
Mhm.
thankful for people who've been willing to help with different things here or there, having conversations or giving me tips and advice. Terry Fletcher, of course, is a very good friend of mine, and
Mhm.
she's owned a business for a very long time, and she's been in the industry a long time. So, things like that are invaluable as far as those relationships and what people are willing to do outside of, there's no obligation there, right? People
Yeah.
who are reaching out because they care, because they love the industry, things like that.
Yeah.
Now, Michelle, what would you say is one of your biggest areas of reflection, we'll call it, or thankfulness?
Well, I would have to say one of the things is this podcast. For years, I really enjoyed the education side of things. And then um, that really it turned into something that while I loved it, it was a great area of stress because of external factors. And I kind of just backed away from it and was like, you know what? It's not worth it. It's not
Mhm,
worth it. But really, that was what I enjoyed the most. So doing this podcast has kind of broken me back out of that shell and back into that more of that mindset of it's okay. You can do it.
mhm.
You enjoy it. And so I think that has been a huge area of growth for me this year. I remember when we started this podcast, I was like, I don't know, and wanted everything planned. And, it's just, you just grow and you change with things. And I would say that is a big area to be thankful for this year
Mhm.
is
And
finding that
it's
joy again.
yeah, and it's we have, evolved just in our short time already because you
Hmm.
have that perspective of you wanted it planned, and I'm like, "Oh no, here's what we're gonna talk about. Here's some bullet points. Just follow along, I know you know your stuff, just talk." It's like not really the format that you would have planned for yourself, but
Nope.
we are very busy and sometimes we just have to jump into an episode. And
Yes.
that for sure, I've seen your confidence grow this year because you're like, oh, I do know this, or I know that
Yeah.
I do these
Mhm.
audits, or whatever it may be. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's really good.
Yep.
And I know for me too, starting, I had a really hard time. I've always done my public speaking and my presence professionally is like very well, professional, right? You have
Yeah.
to get up, speak in front of people, and I tend to not let loose as much, and I am getting more comfortable in that way. So yeah, the
Yes.
dynamics have changed, and for this podcast, it's great as well because I really wanted to have an outlet to just get on here and talk about what we see.
Yeah.
There's so many times that I talk with people and they're like, well, I didn't even know that was happening in the industry. And they'll say, okay, well, how do you get your information?
Mhm.
And the answer to that is that you got to look in a lot of different formats or mixed
Yeah.
media and things like that because there's so much that happens. Unless you just sit there and watch things all day long, it's really hard to kind of take that in and absorb it. So,
Yeah. And there's so much out there. If you look at what's available out there, there is so much and there's so many differing opinions and different points of views when things come out that it's kind of like it can cause your head to spin.
mhm,
So, it's something that you have to stay on top of yourself and
yeah,
not
yeah,
rely on, somebody else to give the information. Sure, it's a good starting jumping off point, but you've got to be willing to do that yourself.
mhm. Yep, exactly. Well, and that's one of the things too that I've really noticed and been thankful for along those type of lines there with the growth. And I have tried to be more intentional this year from like a mentoring standpoint.
Mhm.
And I am really grateful, number one, for that opportunity because
Mhm.
that means that I've had things come into my business that have opened that up for me. People in the industry, whether it's through the membership that I have. We do a lot of mentoring there, but also, this podcast has brought a lot of people
Mhm.
forward. And, it's just been really nice to, again, connect with people in the industry and be able to have some of those conversations. Um,
Mhm.
I know sometimes even for myself, I'm hesitant if people reach out to me and, I don't really know them. It's like, okay, well, what are they looking for? Do they
Yeah.
just want to have a quick conversation? Do they, expect to talk to you for an hour or one day a week for the next month? But, I've taken some opportunities to connect with people one on one, and it's been really great to be able to get their input, to hear what they're going through, be able to offer support as well from, my experience and things like that. And, I feel like in the industry, regardless of the level you're at, obviously if you are a coder or you're just getting into the industry, or even if you are actively auditing a lot, we
Mhm.
have a lot of the mentors in our lives, hopefully, that pour into us. But as we work through our career, it can be just as rewarding and just as fulfilling to be able to become that mentor and still
Yes.
be open to others as well.
Mhm. We're we're never done learning. That's something about this profession is that we are continuously learning. So what we can do is as we learn things, we can share those things, but just because we're to the point where we're able and willing to share things doesn't mean that we can't take that back in.
Yes. Okay, we have to show this comment. It says,
Oh,
"Hi, Aunt Stephanie." And Michelle, let me point out that our niece Savannah said hi to me and she didn't say hi to you. Maybe she'll fix
well,
that.
it's clearly because you bought her more things.
We just had a fun family time recently where we all got to be together. And actually, on the personal level, that's something we were really grateful for because living in different states now, our brother lives in New York still. We're in Tennessee. Michelle and our parents are down in Florida with some other family. So it's very rare that we all get to be together. And
Yes.
Michelle, I think it's the first time you were with all of your nieces and your great nephew now in one place in
In
forever, a very
Well,
long
in
time.
one day, I got to be with all of my nieces and nephews because currently, my nephew is here visiting us,
Oh,
and then
that's right,
I
I always
flew.
forget about Lucas, yeah.
Yes. I flew to Tennessee where all of my nieces were all in one place, and then, of course, little Rai Rai now. Um,
Mhm.
but yes.
There's your high Aunt Shell.
Hello, Savannah.
Don't leave us out, Savannah.
Remember, I'm the one who does Disney. No, no, no. Um, no, that I think is one thing that most people know about me is I
Mhm.
absolutely love all of my nieces and nephews as if they were my own and particularly enjoy spoiling them. Savannah in particular. Um,
Yes.
she's just so happy about it. How could you say no to that face? I'm sure her parents have
I
figured
don't
that out,
I
but
don't think our brother enjoys, going home with a car full of stuffies, but that's okay.
oh, that's so funny. I love it.
Well, and that's one thing that is important to focus on this time of year too is family and what your personal life looks like in relation to your professional life. And I
Yes.
know I've talked about that a lot in the past on this platform and in other areas, but it can be really hard to be able to create, or sometimes you have to force that work life balance. And
Yes.
you know, I'm grateful that this isn't the only year that I've had good work life balance. I've had it in the past as well. But, particularly this year, there was a lot of things that were happening on the personal side that were pretty monumental.
Mhm.
There was a lot that went into it. And to see people from not only my personal life come forward, but a lot of people that I know through this industry really came forward to support, whether they were checking in on me, reaching out, offering to help in whichever way that they could. And again, having your own business, you kind of feel like, well, is that even going to be a thing?
Mhm.
But it is. Everybody is still there. Everybody, for the most part, wants what's best and wants to come together as a community. And, this year, just to give a little context there was a large event in our extended family. And, we had a pretty big, serious mental health crisis with a family member that we went through. And extremely grateful, I think, for 2025, the fact that this person is still with us and that
Yes,
we can be here to support them every day. That's my number one thing this year.
I
100%.
agree.
And in supporting them, and they came down to Tennessee this year to live with my husband and my family and I, to really have time to heal. And it means a lot to have people
Mhm.
checking in. I had some friends send some fun little, like, tchotchke type things that have some sayings on them, like affirmations, things like that. And and then after that, going through that whole thing and making it on the other side and really celebrating that other side, I had my own health issues, and you know ended up in the hospital feeling like a 90-year-old woman, which was not fun. Um, but again, getting the same support. And,
Yes.
I think that I tend to forget, because I like to try so much to put so much effort into my relationship with my clients, for example.
Mhm.
I forget that, there are people on the other side too at times. You can reach out, you can say, hey, I unfortunately had this happen. Is it something that we can reschedule? Can we work around? It doesn't have to be the end of the world. And,
Mhm.
no matter how far things go, or you know, how deep they get, talk about it.
Yeah.
It's not something, obviously, on this platform, I'm not going to come out here and, spill my guts on everything. But
Oh boy,
we're,
next week's episode, what are we gonna get?
yeah, spill the tea. Um, but be real.
Yeah.
We don't have to always have this, like, strong facade and all of
No.
these things. You can have these conversations. People are there to help. And it's
Yeah.
really important to recognize that part.
Yeah, and I think one thing that I'm in particularly thankful for in this profession and with the company that I work for is the flexibility that it affords me.
Mhm,
When we had that emergency situation, I was able to, without any questions, hop in the car within a matter of hours, head to you so we could get to family without any questions or concerns.
mhm,
I knew it wasn't going to be a problem. Um,
mhm,
you know, I am so thankful for that because there's a lot of people who don't even feel like they can contact their employer and say, I'm not coming in because I'm sick today, or my kid is
oh
sick
yeah.
today, without getting the third degree and being treated like the world's worst team member. Um,
Mhm,
you know, just remember that you need to put yourself first. If you are sick, like I think back to this situation in COVID, and I'm not saying I did this because of my employer, but mom and I got COVID.
mhm.
And here the both of us are feeling like death, still working.
Crawling to bed on spring.
Why? Why we did that, I don't know. Like super, I guess, work ethic to a fault, which now you know where we learned it from, our parents. Um, but we should have just called in and said, we've come down with COVID and we're not going to work today. You know what I mean? But just remember at the end of the day, you're most important. You have to go home and you still have to live your life. But that is one thing I'm incredibly thankful for is the flexibility and what it affords me to be present for my family
Mhm.
in times of needs and even in times when I want to be present for my family.
Yeah, yeah, not even yeah, that's a good point. Not even
Mhm.
necessarily if it's that emergency need situation, but
Yeah.
just the everyday things too. And,
Mhm.
trying to let loose and allow yourself to do that too. That's a whole
Yeah.
other hurdle sometimes.
And I think that's where you and I have always kind of been a little bit on the opposite spectrum of things. I've always valued my time more than
Mhm.
I don't know. I always say I value it more than money because, overtime wasn't enticing to me. Um, for the, oh, you can make more money or things like that.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, you could work this extra project over the weekend and make this much extra more money. And it's like, no, thank you. I
Yeah.
have what I need. I need that time where I can step away from my job, and that is a really hard separation sometimes to do at
Mhm.
home. We recently moved this year, and at our old house my dad actually turned a shed into an office for me. We called it my she shed, and oftentimes got kind of a laugh out of
Mhm.
because it looked like a shed from the outside. I would love to know what people thought, especially the times before I had steps and I was crawling up steps to get in it. But it allows me to work from home, but also leave work out in
Mhm.
my office, and it wasn't in my home. Now in our new home, my office is within the home, but it's upstairs, and I'm able to go
Mhm.
downstairs and shut this door and completely separate myself from it.
Yeah.
So I guess, also I should say I'm extremely thankful for my father. And doing things and his willingness to do things like finish off a
Everyday
shed
core.
so that I have finish off a shed so that I have an office to work in. This past weekend, most recently, he hung a light for me in my dining room, and it did not quite go so smoothly. But, you know, we worked through it, figured out the problems. I'm sure he's probably like, "Good Lord, do not let her call me with another project anytime soon." As I'm standing there, I'm like, Dad, I think I would like to. I don't think these mirrors are glued down." And I'm in the bathroom, like, "Oh, that's good to know for when I want to change these." He's probably like, "Let me get done with one project." But
Well, I
that's
think the only
another.
hesitation I've seen in him is when you started one of your ideas by saying you could rent scaffolding.
Well, I have a very tall ceiling in my foyer, and I want to do something on that wall. So maybe it will need to be a lift instead of scaffolding, because I'm not known for being the most graceful or agile individual, and probably should not find myself on any scaffolding anytime
No,
soon.
no, or
But no,
spotting dad
in
on it.
in all seriousness, that is something we have to be very thankful for, is our parents. And even, like our brother and his family. Um, that's one thing, we always find a way to be there for one another
Mhm.
no matter what. We help where we can, and it's just nice. We like our family. I
Yeah.
know that's not true for everybody. Um, but yeah, really thankful for them, and their encouragement in what we do and cheering us on. I know Mom watches our
Yeah.
episodes, and I'm sure she has no clue what we're talking about, but she still sits down and watches them, as do our aunts and things like that. So,
Mhm.
we have a lot of support and a lot to be thankful for.
Yeah, yeah. And it's always nice to have that support on the professional side too.
Hmm. Yeah.
And it's something that doesn't always come easy. Putting yourself out there, taking a chance, things like that. But,
Yeah.
it's something I can say that within this industry there hasn't been too many situations of the mean girl attitude or things like that. It's always going to be out there. You're going
Yes,
to
it is,
always come across
unfortunately.
those people. Yeah. Yeah, but there's enough that are not in that particular state of mind where, I've found a lot of people willing to collaborate and want to learn from each other. And, we all are going to benefit from that. So it's not
Mhm.
anything that has that selfish mindset to it. And, it's been really great to see that. And especially, letting up, putting myself out there more. It's been nice to have that reception from everybody.
Yeah, for sure. And it's been really cool to watch it grow. I mean, I never doubted that you would not be successful. Um, but I think that for yourself, there's always that doubt like, sure, I can sit here and say, "Hey, Stephanie, you're going to do fantastic. Don't worry," but you're the one who has to keep the lights on. You know what I mean? Like that's a whole different level of stress, and I think you've managed that quite well in your transition, and
Mhm.
you're off to a great start. I mean, many more years to come of great things and great opportunities.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. So, Michelle, do you have any big Thanksgiving plans for tomorrow?
Well, I am making the turkey,
There you go. I am not making the turkey.
hoping to. I think if you got on here and told me that you were making a turkey, we would need to go have your brain scanned because I don't think you could. You can't even really handle ground beef. You've done
Yeah.
better with the ground beef, we will say,
I
but
hate raw meat. I will eat meat, but I hate dealing with raw meat. It's awful.
yeah. So we're having over here all the family that's in Florida. So our parents, aunt and uncle, cousin, and his family over here for dinner. And then we're going to go to mom and dad's later in the day for dessert.
Mhm.
Later, probably in the evening. We'll have dessert for dinner or
Let
something.
food settle first. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yes, I'm making the turkey and hoping and praying I don't mess it up. Also hoping
Yes.
and praying it fits on my grill because the jury's still out on that. Better figure that out before too might be
The
an
day
important
before.
might be an important thing to figure out. I think it will fit on it. It's just like,
Will the lid close?
will the lid close? Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that answer is yes. I did a test run chicken last week to make sure, my seasonings weren't too salty and things. And that
Mhm.
turned out good. So
Yeah. Good.
here's to
Good.
hope. What
I'm
about
the
you?
opposite of Michelle. So, like she said, I don't like to cook. My husband actually does most of the cooking. Thank goodness. I like to bake and all of that, but I do not like to cook. And I was joking. I was trying not to mention the turkey ahead of time to my husband, hoping that he would forget to get one in time for it to thaw. But our youngest daughter reminded us that we have to have turkey. So,
Yeah, why
yes.
wouldn't you? You eat turkey, like,
I know. I just on the holidays I like to relax. So I don't want to have the expectation of all of the cleanup and I know a lot of families love the big meal and you sit down together and for me it's like what is the most convenient. So and
well,
also
you
our
could have gone to
holidays are
Golden
different.
Corral.
Yeah, yes, we could go to the Golden Corral like grandpa used to do. Um, but our holidays look very different now too because we moved away from all of our family.
Yeah,
So
our
we're in
holidays look
Tennessee on our
different
own.
too because of that. Thank you
Yes.
very much.
Yeah. So
I mean, we've moved now too, but
yeah.
that was a I tell you, that was a very hard transition when you guys moved. Like, we go all out for holidays. I mean, heck, there was even a St. Patty's Day party,
Yeah.
Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve, Christmas. Remember the egg coloring that we dressed them up and they saw sights around the world? Like, we are weird, okay? But then Stephanie went and moved away,
Mhm.
and it has never
Deflated.
quite been the same. Even though we try really hard, like mom and dad, they take turns at all the different locations for Christmas and things like that. It just
Mhm.
isn't the same. And I know your youngest, Kylie, she has said that before too. So you better make that girl a darn turkey and she
Well,
better
she's
eat
getting
it.
it. She's getting it. Her dad's making it.
She better not just eat rolls and olives.
Yeah.
That was her Thanksgiving dinner in the years of growing up is rolls and olives.
Not because that's all that was put on the table. You need to
No,
clarify.
it's because that's all the kid would eat if there wasn't a chicken nugget around. I think it's still very much so the same.
It's close. It's gotten better. It's close.
Yeah, so I want a picture of her eating some of this turkey
Yes.
tomorrow.
Yes. Yes,
I know
exactly.
Riley's going to enjoy his
Oh,
Thanksgiving.
yes. Yeah, my grandson absolutely loves his meals, and he'll do his little, like, happy food dance now, and,
Mhm.
it's fun to see how he's growing and getting his personality, for sure.
Yes, so now you need to bring all of that holiday magic for Mr. Ragrai.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Well, I thank you all for joining, and I hope that this helps you reflect some on, your own professional life, your personal life. Like I was saying too, I always like to hold that space because it's not always a positive thing for people. It's not always a fun
No.
thing. Sometimes it's one of the hardest parts of the year. So try to focus on, things that make you happy, and they don't have to
Mhm.
be big things. They don't even have to cost money. What is
Nope.
it that you like to do? Go and do it and enjoy yourself. It doesn't
Mhm.
have to be the traditional thing. Heck, if it was just me, I would not be eating turkey tomorrow. Or if I was, it would be another form of it because I don't want to deal with the mess. I don't want to deal with the meal. But, find what works for you. Things don't have to always look the same, and
Nope.
sometimes, like Michelle, you were saying, we've got to transition and
Mhm.
find new ways. So I hope
Yeah.
you all can do that tomorrow. Enjoy whatever makes you happy, and we'll see you back next week.
Yes. Happy Thanksgiving.